Bitch pudding.
Bitch pudding.
What's up, everyone?
What up, everybody? I'm your brother Jam.
I'm your boy Black Hand.
Brother bitch pudding loves.
Bitch pudding. Oh, sorry. Inside joke. Inside joke.
That was my favorite one of Robot Chicken.
Jesus Christ.
My favorite episode. I love bitch pudding.
Yeah, we talk about Robot Chicken. It's just that character.
Man,
Bitch pudding.
Welcome to the smoke session, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us.
You know what I'm saying?
Bitch
Shit,
pudding.
right?
Bitch pudding.
Shit,
God damn, how did I forget about bitch pudding,
Yeah,
man?
no, man.
I can. Yes.
Oh, how did I? Because it's been a long time since I watched Robot Chicken. Though.
Yeah, same
But
here.
that was. Oh man,
Robot Chicken
is
go hard.
hilarious.
It goes hard.
Man,
Y'all
y'all.
have to do a show about that.
Hey.
Ooh.
Hey.
Now, see, going back and watching a whole bunch of episodes, like old episodes of Robot Chicken, that actually might be. Yeah, we might have.
Well, it's like what, 15 seasons? So like,
Pick at least one each. That way you can talk about it in length.
dude.
Well,
That's
one already is bitch pudding.
No.
That's one. So
Okay, that's gonna be yours.
That's mine.
That's gonna be
Bitch
yours.
pudding is
Okay, yeah. But
Da-da-da-da.
shit, that's a lot to choose from,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, because you have to
pick
remember,
your
it's so
favorite one.
each one is short. You know, there's so many shorts in that. So, damn. But bitch pudding,
That would
yes.
be tough.
Bitch pudding is my
We can
one.
talk about bitch pudding.
Okay, look, wait, hold up.
That's
Okay, I heard this joke, and the minute I heard it, I was like, okay, this joke belongs on the smoke session. Okay, so hold on, let me make sure I get this right. So, what's Peter Pan's favorite place to eat out?
The skillet? The golden skillet?
Wendy's.
That's fucked up. I get it, but that's fucked up.
Well, hey. At least he went with Wendy's.
Hey.
You
You
know,
could have had a dude in a box, a clown.
It was better than Long John Silver.
A clown and a pretend king and shit.
shit.
Better than
Hey,
Long John
he
Silver.
could be like Spider-Man and wake up one day and find out he's a clone.
Right,
So,
right.
you know, there's all kinds of possibilities that could happen to you that could be much worse. But that leads me into our conversation about Spider-Man.
So before that,
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You are right, Brother Los. We are going to remind you to check out the website, www.tha.dailysmoke.com. So if you want to know what's going on with us as far as the smoke sessions, you want to know what's coming up on the main shows, you want to know what events we might be going to or attending, where if you want to actually meet us in person, hey, show up. We'd be glad to give you a hug, despite the fact that we're technically still in the pandemic. So, you know, hey, show up and we'll
no, if you show up to the den, we give hugs in here.
yeah,
We
for
don't
real.
shake hands, we give hugs.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know,
But if we had an
wear a
event,
mask if you want.
if we had an event, you know, we might be out and about. We might meet some people,
Right,
so
we
it could
give
happen.
hugs. So
Meet
just
and
so
greet,
y'all know,
meet
we
and greet.
give hugs.
Yeah, for real. But www.thedailysmoke.com, and if you want to donate, hit us up on Cash App, $TD Smoke. So please, you know, if you're feeling generous, you know, if you like what we're doing and you want to see us be able to do better, then help us out. We definitely appreciate the help. And
We
hey,
need the
if
love.
all you do is hit like, share, and subscribe,
That's
we
what
love you anyway. That's more than enough. So thank you if you're not able to donate. But yeah, I do want to get into this conversation about Spider-Man. Because,
All right, bruh.
I mean, okay.
All right, bruh. How we gonna go about this?
So here's the thing. You have to understand that Spider-Man is one of... No, I was about to say Marvel, but he's actually
Iconic.
the most popular comic book character
Iconic.
of all time. Like, that's what Spider-Man is to the world of comic books. He literally set records as far as comic book sales just on the name Spider-Man alone in a lot of cases. The thing about Spider-Man is that he became iconic because he was an everyman hero.
Yeah, but you also have to remember this was created by Stan Lee and what's his name? Steve Ditko.
Ditko, yeah. Yeah. What was that? Back in
63.
'63. Damn,
Yep.
that long ago.
1963.
But you know, Stan Lee was a master of creating these characters where people could see themselves in those characters. That was the point of the X-Men and a lot of the stories behind like the old characters from the Avengers
Stan
and
Lee
stuff like
actually
that.
didn't really have a lot as far as the X-Men. But I'm saying Spider-Man, I think he also did what? Cap. No, not Cap. Thinking of another character. But yeah, but Stan didn't have a lot of writing as far as influence as far as X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
But being Stan Lee, he had a lot of influence as far as the X-Men.
Yeah. A lot of his characters were designed to be where you could put yourself in their place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And Spider-Man, by his just sheer design, even because the mask that he wore, it was like anybody could be under that mask. And then on top of that, if you think about it, he was a loner, a nerd. He kind of stood out or was picked on. He was, not cool enough to get to girls, not strong enough to hang out with the jocks. He was how a lot of people perceived themselves, especially back in the '60s. You had a population of what they quote unquote back then would call a nerd.
Well, yeah, because excuse me for my notes, but Spider-Man, as far as the character itself, was pretty much just a teenage orphan.
Right.
So you put him in, he was a poor teenage orphan. It's emphasis on that.
But he got taken in by his aunt and uncle.
Yeah.
They eventually raised him, and you gotta kind of think about it. It would suck to be Uncle Ben, because just as this nigga was getting like powers and could have like made their lives real like cool and comfortable, because he took pretty good care of Aunt May, as she got older. Or yeah, she got in danger a few times, but hey, he's superhero. Shit gonna happen. A few times.
She died in a couple of episodes. Shit.
Yeah, but it's comic book. Nobody stays dead. It's alright. But so if
shout out to Aunt May.
A shout out to Marissa Tomei.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's
man. I've had a crush on Marissa Tomei since like back in the like '80s.
Yeah.
I remember her from back when she was like really young and like doing movies. She was just.
It's like my age, so I know.
And she was adorable when she was young.
Still adorable now.
And that's the thing. She's aged so well. Dude, she is still just beautiful.
It's like we aged, she aged, but to us, she still looks like we saw her back when we were young, when we were both young.
Yep.
Man, she still look good. Okay.
And she's single too. So
is she?
No, I'm talking about the character.
Okay.
As far as her character.
I was going to say. I was like, you tell me Marissa Tomei's single, I'm losing weight tomorrow.
No, I'm talking about if she. I'm talking about her and Aunt May.
She likes teddy bears. Shit. You might get into that.
Let's go.
Shout out to Marissa Tomei.
Yeah, Marissa Tomei, if you're watching.
You go, girl.
I hope if you do like chubby dudes, just holler. That's all I'm saying. Just holler.
Well, she did like Happy Hogan, so go ahead.
There's hope. There's hope. But yeah, so I'm sure you probably already brought up number one, right? Okay. So but that's the thing, because you could see so many people could see themselves in Spider-Man. I think that's really the reason why this whole Spider-Verse idea really kind of works with the character of Spider-Man, because you have all these different kind of incarnations and versions of Spider-Man, because you have the idea of the multiverse. Mm-hmm. And that's what they tried to touch on a little bit in the movie. Of course, if you, and I'm sorry, I meant to say bring up number two, but I'm sure you probably already did. So number three, for Peter, like in the movie, that was the three versions of Peter that they decided to try to touch on.
I don't remember the dude on the end, though.
That's Andrew Garfield.
I don't remember him.
You don't remember?
I must have not watched those or something.
Did you see the Spider-Man movie that had the lizard in it?
No,
Nope.
you haven't seen those.
So I haven't
That's,
seen
Oh,
that's
okay.
the amazing
When I saw
Spider-Man.
that
Okay.
picture, y'all, I'm like, who's this dude?
So you didn't see No Way Home?
No, I haven't seen the latest one.
Oh, dude, you should watch No Way
I
Home.
haven't seen
So
it.
wait, so you haven't
Even
seen?
the one before that, which was what?
Um,
I seen him in with the Avengers and shit.
right, he was in with the Avengers.
Tom Holland.
Tom
And I
Holland,
saw
but
one with the new kid that
Tom Holland.
when he first became it, they went to some observatory or some shit, and that's where the spider library, the spider got him and shit. I saw that one. That's what that was. Dude.
That's Toby.
No, was that Toby?
No,
No, that's the other dude, because that little young sexy little thing that's out here now, that's all old now. This movie.
huh?
you talking about Marissa Tomei again?
No, there was a Spider-Man where they go somewhere and they're like a library or something, and the spider gets something there.
Oh, that'd be Toby.
That
No,
was-
that'd be Toby.
Toby was in the lab.
No, and this kid, and then that girl, what's her name?
Was it?
Zaya somebody or Zaya, some girl.
Zendaya?
She's in it.
So that's Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
That one.
He's
I
the
saw
current
that.
Spider-Man.
Okay, so then I didn't see dude on the end.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
so
Andrew
you've
Garfield.
seen at least one with Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Right, and plus him in with the Avengers.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Okay.
the Spider-Man in those.
Oh, you gotta catch up then, bro.
Dude, I'm and I don't say this.
Oh,
Don't take it lightly. I really will say this. Really, for Marvel right now, Spider-Man is some of the best consistently. The Tom Holland Spider-Man movies have been some of the consistently best movies that Marvel has been putting out, and that's no joke. Like all the Spider-Man movies have been pretty damn good. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're perfect by no means, but they are really good movies, solid
Right
stories,
here.
good action. You know, everything you really want in a comic book movie, it really gives it to you in these Spider-Man movies. You get a level of drama, a little bit of romance, you get a little of everything. So it's cool, and a lot of comedy, because the thing about Spider-Man is, in the comic books, Spider-Man was always meant to be a comedian.
yeah, always wise.
He was always telling jokes. Yeah, he'd be flying around, you know, swinging around, whipping your ass, and cracking jokes while he pummeling you. You know, that was literally part of his original
Now, Peter
character.
was like that before.
Huh?
That was Peter like that.
The
before?
original, yeah, in the original storyline, he was a wisecracker, and so in this
Even
movie,
before he got stung.
Well,
he was more of a
it wasn't
nerd.
until he
He was more of a nerd.
the confidence he gained once he got the spider powers allowed that part of his.
Hell yeah,
You know, I don't have to be scared of nobody no more.
Right?
I can talk a little shit, yeah.
Right.
Because even in the original storyline, he wound up standing up to his bully,
Flash Thompson.
Flash Thompson. Yeah, he wound up standing up to Flash Thompson once he got his spider powers and that strength. He was like, "Nigga, nah, we ain't finna do this beating me up stuff no more." You know, it was those.
If you want to.
I'd have found all the bullies I ever had.
But see, if you bring up 3A, that's gonna be the different versions, and just an example of some of the different versions of Peter Parker that have taken place in the comic books. Different from Amazing Spider-Man to Spectacular Spider-Man,
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Ultimate.
It's so many. So many.
There's the version, like I said before, there's a version where he wound up being a clone, and that clone's name became Ben Reilly eventually.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so
Secret Spider.
yeah, the Secret Spider, that was a whole thing. So like there was two Spider-Man, and matter of fact, the clone went on to become. Didn't he move to the West Coast, if I remember right?
Yeah,
He moved to the West Coast, and he became the Scarlet Spider.
We became a whole
and also joined the West Coast Avengers.
Oh yeah, he did join the
West Coast Avengers. I thought
Yeah, East Coast and West Coast.
Oh no. In the actual comics, you have the East Coast Avengers and you have the West Coast Avengers. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And down here we got the South Coast Avengers.
Right.
Look, that's
Very
Lil Kiki, DJ Screw, Scar.
The dirty Avengers. The dirty South Avengers.
Now you got instead of Iron Man, you got
Look.
Aluminum Man.
Look, matter of fact, the new version would include Chameleonaire, Paul Wall, what's his name, Tobey, Tobey and I'm not fit to butcher that last man's name. Now I know who the hell I'm talking about. That African dude from Houston.
Right. That
That one line in one of his songs when he say, "My homies call me Booty Scratcher." I was like, "Yeah, you grew up in Texas, yeah."
Right.
Because we'll call an African person African booty scratcher at a heartbeat,
right.
And I have no idea what that is.
That's crazy because I've heard that before too.
Just
it's
don't
like,
call him juicy. That's all. Just don't call him juicy.
Like you're calling me that, so I go around scratching African booty. Because you're an African booty scratcher. The fuck?
What does that even mean? But we used to say it all the time when we
Okay,
were kids.
let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's stop. Let's keep going.
Hey,
We're getting off track. We're getting off track.
No,
Let's keep
niggas
going.
out there know what I'm talking about. Okay, leave a comment if
you know what an African booty scratcher is.
hit the like button and leave a comment if you know what African booty scratcher. If you've used the term African booty scratcher while you was growing up, I guarantee you we gonna get some comments on that one. Nigga, I'm trying to tell you. Shit, we gonna have. I'm telling you, people out there know about them African booty scratchers. Okay, but okay, so part of the reason for the whole sinister. I mean, I'm jumping.
You jumping? So
leave me alone.
I ain't do nothing.
I still got the.
It's weed time.
I still.
It's chow time.
Hey man.
Bobby's on beer time.
Right.
Yep.
So your vibe is just a little different. That's all. But okay. So the reason that the whole Spider-Verse situation came into being really was as a result of the Sinister Six.
Yes.
And that's going to take us to number 4. And the Sinister Six essentially was Doc Ock as the leader. Let me see. It was
Doc Ock, a.k.a. Otto Octavius. His first appearance was in July 1963. Then the Vulture, aka Adrian Toomes. Sandman, aka Flint Marco. Electro, aka Maxwell Dillon. Mysterio, aka Quentin Beck. And Craving the Hunter, which really doesn't have a last name, just Craving. So
that nigga. But Craven was no joke, dude. Like
he was not a joke.
On paper, he sounds kind of like, huh? But the way Craven was actually one of my favorite Spider-Man villains back in the day.
So all these dudes are like bad guys. Spider-Man had to fight.
Right. Spider-Man had all defeated these guys individually, and so basically, what Doc Ock came to the realization of is like he keeps just beating us, so we need to do something different. How about a bunch of us get together? And we go at him as a team, and we should be able to take him out. That was the plan. Now he invited like a bunch of villains, but he only got 5 who was willing to actually work with him because villains is like fuck y'all.
The original, but I'm gonna have to put a mention out there just for trivia. Spider-Man in 1963, when Spider-Man was actually introduced to the world, his very first villain was Russian dude. I forget his name. I don't have it written down because it's a long name and I can't even pronounce it. I just know his first name is Dimitri or something like that, but I cannot pronounce the last name. But he was
spicy.
He was
spicy.
All right, love.
Spicy.
But his alias was the Chameleon. The Chameleon is just a character where he puts masks on, but he's almost like the Mystique of that era, where he becomes that, whatever mask he's put on, he's that person. So you really can't tell him from the difference between the actual person or him. That was Spider-Man's very first villain. That's just trivia. But let's go ahead.
But so the Sinister Six came about because Octavius basically was like, I can't beat him by myself. I need help. He got five other villains to come along, and basically they said we're gonna team up and try to get Spider-Man. Now, what had always happened in the comic books before is that Spider-Man would always lure them to a spot where it was advantageous for him, so he could defeat them, you know, and then that would be the end of him. Well, this time they tried to flip it on Spider-Man and was like, okay, we're gonna lure you to some places that's advantageous for us. Like Craven fought him in a wildlife preserve.
Yeah.
You know, and
who was their leader? Who put these dudes together again?
Doc Ock. Doc Ock. Yeah, Dr. Octavius. Yeah, he put them together originally. And if you drop down to number 5, Los, that's the Doc Ock from the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, right?
No, not Andrew Garfield. Maguire.
From Toby. Yeah, that's the
Yes.
Maguire.
You're right. I forgot. Yeah, so you're right. It was Tobey Maguire. That's Tobey Maguire's Doc Ock. Yeah, and then actually 5A. I don't know if this is actually from a comic book, but I saw this picture online as a representation of Doc Ock, and I was just like, that's a cool ass picture. You know, your boy he looks a little sinister.
The chip.
Yeah, but and that was one of the things too about Doc Ock. His character had always been chubby. They always portrayed him as being overweight. So
did you show him in a comic book?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You just don't remember. That's not it though.
No, actually, if you go to if say like you go back to either 4 or 4A, either one of those, and you can see some of the more comic book depictions of him and how he looked in the comics.
Yeah, but he was always a kind of a heavy set, so he wasn't slimmed down like Tobey Maguire. But I love Doc Ock.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite villains for Spider-Man too.
Yeah, when Doc Ock actually put the Sinister Six together, they wasn't trying to fight. John just kind of said a little bit. They wasn't trying to fight them all at once.
Right.
So there was like, because Doc Ock's master plan was, we'll each fight him. And if you can kill him, great. But every time you fight, you're just gonna have to keep him going, and we're just gonna wear him down.
That was their plan. So it was, and here's the killer part about it though, is that in each instance, Spider-Man still managed to beat him.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Peter Parker is that he was a genius before he became Spider-Man.
He's a big nerd, smart.
He's just a smart guy. And so the thing about Spider-Man is he's never just relied purely on his strength. He's never just relied purely on his spider sense. He's always used his brain. Spider-Man's biggest asset, his biggest weapon, his greatest weapon is his intelligence, because he thinks through situations. He could approach just about every fight head on. Spider-Man is powerful, physically powerful enough to do that, but why, when you can do things in a much more subtle way and still accomplish the same ends? That's really just like Spider-Man's whole motif. It's another reason why he's always been popular with a lot of people as well. Spider-Man was one of those comic book characters who I always thought was a little cheesy because they didn't let him kill, back in the day.
Right.
But then even over the years, that's changed on a few occasions. It's not something that happens on a regular basis. But he has been known to take a life in the right kind of circumstances. So it added to me, stuff like that added an edge to the character that always made it more appealing. Even things like when he bonded with Venom, and became one with the symbiote for a little while. That part I always thought was really interesting and added an interesting dark edge to the character of Spider-Man. But it was always been a character that I really enjoyed dealing with. But back to this. So I'm sorry, it was number 6. This is Craven the Hunter, gentleman we was just talking about.
Right.
And refresh me, Bobby, if you can recall. How did he get his abilities?
It's a little thing, and I don't know what it is about Marvel, but it was a version of the super soldier serum.
A copy, another.
Yeah, it's like almost. It's like I don't know how many copies of this damn serum they have, but damn it, everybody has this serum, and everybody's trying to use this serum.
Yeah.
But Craven, he's always been he's Russian, but he's always been because of his family and heritage, always been always been a hunter. But he got his hands on a version of the super soldier serum, which actually increased his speed, agility, his strength, and then pretty much he can take down a rhino with his bare hands. That type of but he was always fascinated in the big hunt. So Spider-Man was the big hunt for him.
Yeah.
So he's like, if I can take down Spider-Man,
I'm the greatest hunter alive.
I'm done. It's like that's all I need to do, and then I can retire.
He was a regular dude.
Yeah.
So he hunts people just like he hunts game.
Yeah.
So for him, a hero, of enough caliber, can be worth just as worthy a target of going after some rare wild animal or some shit.
Yeah, a big game hunter. So
bigger than a human.
Right. And one of the things that his character was always known for that I always thought was cool was like his arrogance. Because if I remember right, he came from like an aristocratic family.
Yeah.
So he had this like
the craving offs.
He had this real like snooty kind of like I am better than you. That kind of
with the Russian accent.
Yeah. He was just one of those motherfuckers. He looked down on you, and then he was tall and muscular and imposing. So when he looked down on you, he was really fucking looking down on you, like fuck you, nigga. Right. And as you can see, my man was big on the furs and the animals and stuff.
Yeah, even his costume is actually a lion that he skinned, and she's wearing a lion.
Your boy was rocking the leopard print before Beyonce. And then we go to Mr. Sandman. Number 7.
Sandman, bring me a dream.
Make it down the scene.
Make sure you got some ice cream.
No sand in it.
But I'm down for some sprinkles.
Mr. Flint Marco.
Yeah. How come, his name is one of the hardest names for me to remember? And I know it always has something to do with rocks, but it's Flint Marco. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Flint. It's Flint Marco.
Right. But yeah, Flint Marco, man, to me, characters like him, like Clayface in DC and stuff like that, characters who can just kind of be amorphous like that, those kind of characters I always did find kind of cool. Because, like, how do you really fight somebody like that?
Well, Spider-Man also fought Hydro Man, which is an elemental.
Yeah,
that's water.
In that picture there, that's how he looks in the comics.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much how he looked in the comics.
With that wicked Widow Peak right there. Yeah, that's how he
for some reason, that Widow's Peak has always been a part of his character. Like, that's just always... Because if you go to 7A, you see another comic book version and the movie version. And you see that Widow's Peak is still there.
Right. Even the dude that's playing it.
Him and Vegeta.
Right.
Them niggas' hairlines is just not giving up. But, hey, I ain't mad at nobody for losing their hair. Thankfully, I'm 47 and I still got all mine.
What was his power?
Basically, he got...
Sandman.
He literally turns into sand.
Yeah. That one comes up and keeps going back and forth.
He's literally sand.
Like, he can break down into grains of sand and then reform himself. If you add sand to him, he can turn that sand into part of his body.
And then his mass. Yeah. Increase his mass.
He can make himself giant. You give him enough sand, he can damn fall on you all at once, and it feel like you're being hit by a mountain from all this weight of sand falling down on you.
Then he can create any weapons out of fucking sand. So axe, a mace, or anything.
Oh, so he can make sand turn into
whatever he wants.
He can control it completely. So it's like how we talked about on Avatar with the waterbenders and all of that. Right. He controls sand like that, but his entire body is made out of sand. So if you get you can actually get him wet.
That's what I was gonna say. Throw a bucket on his ass, maybe he'll get hard.
He just be mud.
But it slows him down. It's harder for him to move when he's too got too much water.
Too much moist.
Too much.
He's
Too
too
much
moist.
moisture.
He's too moist.
He's too moist.
He doesn't work too good.
Oh, but then we nigga moist.
He's moist. That monster over here, guys.
He's
Monster.
No,
Monster.
moist.
Let's keep going.
Why you sound like Lumpy Space Princess, nigga?
Monster. Got that monster over
Okay,
here.
go to number 8. Okay, this is
Yeah,
Electro.
we having fun.
And this is Electro. Electro, honestly, I always thought Electro was actually kind of a cheesy hero because of this costume. Like, that whole star thing.
Well, you have to remember.
Yeah.
You have to remember it's back in 1963, so they had to draw it somehow.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand for the time, it was probably fine.
But actually, I prefer that over the Andrew Garfield, Jamie Foxx shit in Amazing Spider-Man number 2 with the blue lightning and that was just total bullshit.
He looking like a shaved Avatar from the Blue People movie.
That's like that's what you call it. That's moist, man.
And if you notice, that's why I didn't include a picture of that one, because that version he literally looked like a shaved blue testicle, like in that movie. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but that wasn't a good idea.
That was Sony's idea. So.
But now the updated version of Jamie Foxx's Electro in the No Way Home. Yes. Now that I actually did enjoy. That was they need to leave it right there.
Keep that one how that one was.
Because they had like the lightning around his face as he was using his powers made the shape of the star. But it was just out of lightning. It wasn't like a part of a costume.
Yeah.
That made more sense in a modern context and as far as the version of this character that they should be trying to use. That made much more sense. If you're gonna make that character recurring, now you got a version of them that you need to use. Yeah.
Leave moist man behind.
And it's like
and then they got away from the blue lightning crap. I don't know what that was. And then actual the yellow actual what you think what lightning should look like. And
I'm gonna give a little bit of a spoiler here for those who might not have seen No Way Home yet.
Watch it.
So in No Way Home, the Jamie Foxx Electro in the movie, he winds up getting hold of one of Tony Stark's arc reactors and using it as a power source to power his lightning.
Ultimate source of energy.
When I'm telling you that part there, I was like, okay, somebody decided to make this fun.
Yeah.
So that was, if you haven't seen the movie yet,
watch it.
Please. That part alone is worth. Like if you got to rent it on Amazon Prime, do that. It's worth it. Trust me.
Even Jamie was like, yes, finally I can do the part the way I wanted to do the part. Right?
It came out good. But then another member of the Sinister Six was Mysterio.
Quentin Beck.
Now,
a marble head man.
The dude with the fishbowl on his head.
Fishbowl on his head, man. You never mistake Mysterio for anybody else.
Can you see his face?
No,
just that.
I mean, he can take it off.
Okay.
But
he rarely does.
Yeah, he's a normal person underneath there, but he rarely does. It's his power is basically being able to create illusions, and that's what hence the name Mysterio. But very high quality illusions.
Yes.
Like holograms that look almost solid. Like you can't tell until you actually try and touch him and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was screw with your reality as far as the details he can do with these illusions. I mean, you think this is actually happening to you and you're hearing that. No, it's just illusions.
Like he could literally go inside of an empty warehouse, right? And have you walk in and you'd walk into that warehouse and you think you were in a forest.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And no matter how far you walked in that forest, you'd never get to the end of it because he just keeps shifting the scenery. Yeah. That's the kind of illusions he could create.
That detail. It's almost like the hologram with the holodeck in Star Trek.
That would be crazy. Walk into a warehouse, make sure like this warehouse wasn't that big outside. What the fuck am I? just keep going, and,
but
and then you're outside.
and you're you're literally in the building just walking around in circles, but he's keeping you on a path where you're not bumping into nothing.
As I said, like the holodeck in Star Trek.
Right.
Exactly. It's that type of illusion.
I couldn't have one of those. Holodeck. Man, if I
You're-
could program of it,
It's gonna be all sticky. It's gonna be all sticky in there.
And not just that, I'm gonna do some stupid other shit.
Man, I'm jumping off of cliffs. I'm doing assassination.
You know,
I'm doing all kinds of stuff. And
I'm flying.
if I had an actual holodeck,
where I can actually jump off the building, like you said, and just fly.
man,
I'm gonna create that one where I have that perfect job and I'm making money. That's it.
You know,
I ain't, man,
No,
it's when you open the door to your house, all this money comes flashing down. You gotta push through and shit. But you don't need it because in my holiday, I don't pay for shit. You know, everything's free.
right?
You know, I just hit it and go.
That's because you got that low system.
he
Run the low system.
got his holodeck pimped out with the low system.
You know,
Oh yeah, you gotta get shutters. You gotta get
The
shutters.
damn holodeck was heck, yo.
Hack your imaginations, nigga.
Make you think you went back to your room.
I was gonna have that Popeyes in it though. But anyway, go ahead.
I was just gonna say number 10, if you could, sir. The Vulture, another member of the Sinister Six.
Adrian Toomes.
Now, the original Vulture, I ain't gonna lie, was kind of cheesy, dude.
It's 1963 when they make this character.
And don't get me wrong. I acknowledge the time. So what was acceptable back then? Hey, I try to appreciate it with the context of as far as artwork is concerned, with that context. But at the same time, this nigga was a dude in a green bodysuit with some wings hanging off his arms.
But
like,
What was his
Vulture.
Oh, he's a
Adrian
vulture.
Toomes.
and he robbed banks. You know what I'm saying? He like did jewelry heists. And
But
stuff.
the thing is,
He's a brown or something. Vulture, you know?
but the Vulture, Mr. Adrian Toomes, was like a rival to Oscorp or Norman Osborn as far as money wise. But Oscorp kind of took him out of
kind of like what's your boy Hammer Industries to Stark Industries.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah, okay.
And he created some tech that actually allowed him, because I'm not getting into details with this, I don't have the notes for it, but that actually kind of allowed him to kind of drain the life force from you to add, since he's the old ass man, that added to his age. Meaning when he...
You mean subtracted from his age?
Well, yeah, subtracted. So it's he can just grab onto you, like literally he killed and fed off people just to add to his youth.
The Vulture dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And
I mean, hey, you got to have a day job.
Hey,
right.
I'm getting old again. Come here. I need you over here.
The 10A.
Yeah.
That one is the movie version of the Vulture.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton
That's
played.
right. He was that. I saw that one. I did see
Yeah,
that.
Michael Keaton played him
He
in
did
the
a
movie.
good job.
And dude, I actually enjoyed.
I like that
I
too.
really liked that version of
Yes.
the Vulture. The tech of the suit, the wings,
Yes.
the directionalness of it. How it could
And then
move and everything.
he can still just and then just move it. I'm like, yeah, I like that tech.
They did it. They did a good job in bringing that
Thank you, MCU.
into the real world. Like, dude, they made that work.
Thank you, MCU.
They really did make that work. There was a few other pictures of the suit, of the armor suit, that would have given like a little bit more details on it. But the problem is that they all came out really low resolution. I couldn't find a good clear one. So it's like,
that one was dark, but you could still see.
right, yeah, you get the gist of it. You get the gist of it. Okay. Now
we gotta jump on to the next.
that was pretty much covers the original Sinister Six and gives you an idea of the squad that Spider-Man was up against. And so then what happens is Spider-Man himself starts to go, well, actually Supreme Spider-Man, which was actually Doc Ock in Peter Parker's body, decides to go out to the other universes, the multiverse, and start contacting different versions of himself in different universes to be able to try to get help against the repeated attacks from the Sinister Six. And so he had to basically go and get other Spider-Men, and that was what eventually led to the whole Spider-Verse concept. But then I couldn't go the rest of this video without talking about one of my favorite versions of Spider-Man, which is Miles Morales.
Oh, Miles, yes.
So if you bring up number 11, Los, now this is Miles and Peter Parker. So two different versions of Spider-Man existing at the same time. And this is from one of the video games. I forgot which game it was from.
Miles.
But
Well, both of them, really.
but yeah, this is the Miles Morales and Peter Parker together. And then if you go to number 12, that's Miles Morales. He is our young
Black Hispanic.
what do they call it? Afro-Latino?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Afro-Latino young man who winds up, just like the original Peter Parker, getting bit by a radioactive spider. Little bit of a different circumstance from the original, but same results. He winds up waking up with spider powers, but his powers are slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
He can actually go invisible. He can also administer electric shocks. So he has a few different abilities that the original Spider-Man doesn't have. And it allowed them to bring the concept of Spider-Man, the basic concept of Spider-Man, that everyman kind of superhero, into a modern age that a lot of younger kids nowadays can really identify with. And the cool part about it is it worked. They actually wrote the character well enough to where people have, like, young people look at Miles Morales and they see themselves. Just like my generation looked at Peter Parker and we saw ourselves.
Right.
You know?
How Stan wanted to be.
Right, exactly. The original plan to begin with was make a character that everybody could see themselves in. And to me, that's one of the reasons why the whole concept of the Spider-Verse made sense, because it's all of us seeing ourselves in Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's where and that's the meta angle of the whole Spider-Verse idea, is that the reason that there is a Spider-Verse is because we all see ourselves in Spider-Man.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
You know,
Cool. They did in the cartoon when they had a girl that was a Spider-Man.
That'd be Gwen Stacy.
yeah, that was Spider-Gwen. Yeah.
That was her name, Spider-Gwen.
In the Spider-Verse cartoon, the animated movie, I'll say.
Right.
That one you had Peter Porker. It was a pig version of Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah,
You had my favorite, Spider-Man Noir.
yeah. Spider-Man Noir. No, it was Noir Spider.
Yeah.
Noir Spider, and he looked like he was from like a 1950s
1940s or something like that.
private eye movie. Looked like he was something from out of a
Wore a black trench coat, black hat, and all. Yeah.
the fedora.
Yeah, the fedora.
Oh man, what was that movie called? Sin City.
Yes.
Yeah, it looked like he was set from like a Sin City kind of era. And I think if I remember right, didn't he use guns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had no problem killing anybody.
Yeah, that Spider-Man even used guns. So like all these different versions of Spider-Man.
Yeah, because they didn't have web shooters, so you had to,
Yeah, that's Sin City. That was one of my favorite movies. That was cool as fuck.
So Sin City, yeah.
That was cool as fuck. And what's her name?
Rosario.
I like Jessica Alba.
Gloria Dawson.
Yeah, Jessica Alba was
I like her.
Jessica Alba was something else.
Rosario too, though, shit. But I like
Gloria
Jessica
Dawson,
Alba.
yes.
Like that movie made because I forgot that chick's name. She was the one who played the young prostitute, the one who was getting picked on by the guys in the car.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've seen her in other stuff, and I had never thought of her as attractive until I saw her in Sin City, and like that movie made her attractive. I was like, damn.
That's with me with Lisa Bonet.
She got
Angel Heart.
Bonet.
I didn't find it too sexy, but she did Angel Heart. Oh,
When she did Angel Heart.
that's when I was like, okay, now I see.
That's all right. I held you down from day one, Lisa. My love is real, girl.
Kyle Bishop.
So real, we're holding down your daughter now too.
Honestly, okay. And I will say this. I take nothing away from Zoe Kravitz. She's a beautiful woman. She's a talented actress from what I've seen. So, you know, she does a great job. Honestly, though, she's not as attractive to me as her mother is.
Right.
She's attractive, but
Her mom.
Lisa
You know
Bonet,
what? Maybe when she gets older and we'll be older ourselves, and she might be another good looking woman.
maybe so. I think she needs to get some sun. She's a little bit on the pale
Right,
side.
right. And, a little bit, and eat a little bit more.
Yeah. Have a couple burgers, and get a little bit of a tan.
Well, Lisa's always been slim.
You know what? I'm gonna stop.
Slim.
I'm gonna stop because that's getting us some.
Yeah, wait. That's another episode. That's another episode.
Catwoman.
That's a whole cancel territory. We're not even
You
gonna
know
go
what
there. But all right, y'all. We're gonna wrap this up.
No, we still got some time.
Oh, we still got some time.
That
Cool.
last picture, who's this dude?
Oh, that's actually still Miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this was the version of him from the Spider-Verse animated movie. So that's actually what that was.
It's that hood.
The hoodie, man. It just, to me, that fits the character so well.
It's that urban. It's that urban.
And I know it seems like a cliche kind of thing, like, oh, he's a young black kid, so you got to wear a hoodie.
Right.
But
it's cool.
dude, there was a time in my life when you did not catch me without a hoodie on. You know what I'm saying?
Just go run in the Zimmerman. You're good.
Well, look, my days was even before the whole Zimmerman thing. So, you know, yeah, we had our own dangers back then. We just had to be careful of the crooked cops.
Right. That's sad.
Which one?
Shh, all of them.
Man.
That's why. We're not even finna get into that, but I don't trust cops to this
You
day.
know
Gotta
what,
be-
man? We need to tell them about our episode coming up soon.
Oh,
Not
yes.
sure when it's coming, so they can
Okay,
check out the
so-
new.
Here's the tea, folks. You know, like I always say, we're trying to bring you bigger and better things and more interesting things to talk about. So what we have coming up is an interview with an up and coming comic book company called Bleak Heaven.
Yes.
So you can check them out if y'all want to get a little preview of what they do. You know, and we'll put some links up probably here soon when everything is a little bit closer to getting done. But we're going to be, like I said, they're an up and coming comic book company. They got some interesting things going on, so we're going to have them on. The main creator and writer and a couple of their artists. So I think it's going to be a total of 3 people joining us. We're going to have them on a interview for the show.
Yes.
Let them talk about
Check it
their
out.
art and the comic book business and how it is trying to break into it. So if you're interested in independent comics, if you're interested in, you know, getting on, maybe finding out about the next coolest thing before anybody else does.
And if you,
Hey.
even if you're doing your own comic book,
Right.
hey, everybody's welcome here. So
And that's the thing. These are the kind of opportunities we want to try and help people out. You know, if you do have a product that you're trying to get out, whether it's a comic book, if you're an author, you writing a book, any of that kind of stuff.
Come
You
nerd
want to
out
come
with
on and
us.
talk to us about it? If it has something to do with sci-fi, fantasy, any of those kind of things, or hell, even I'm even willing
gaming and anything.
to anything along those lines. If that
We'll help
if
you
it
get, you know, hey, we're small, we're learning, we're getting bigger, but if we can help you move on, hey, come on, because hey, the people that watch us don't know about you, so come let them know about you.
right,
Yeah.
right now, folks. Hey, look, we got over 1,000 followers, so for whatever that's worth, if we can help you get a little bit of exposure, we'd love to be able to do that. We'd love for you to look back and say that the Daily Smoke at one point helped you in the beginning of your career. And hey, when you get popular, you know, you can help us out in
You know what
ours
I'm
as
saying?
well. Come back and do it. Come back and do another show with us when you get huge.
Hand over hand.
Right, so go to the website.
The THADailySmoke.com. Please check that out. Fill out the form that gives us your email address, the experience with the Daily Smoke, and let us know if you want to actually come on the show. We'd love to hear from y'all. Hopefully you reach
On
out to
smoke
us.
or a session, either one.
And depending on what you might have to talk about, who knows? We might be able to get you into one of the main Monday, Wednesday
The
shows.
live show.
One of the live shows, if depending on what you're working on.
Yeah.
So please reach out to us and let us know. And if you want to donate, again, $sign TD Smoke.
At Cash App.
Cash App, baby. Hit it up. Get us $1. Hell, we'll take 50 cents. But if you can't donate, then do the next best thing: like, share, and subscribe.
David.
Yes.
So, you know, thank y'all for joining us on this Daily Smoke, man. We're gonna go ahead, Daily Smoke session. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, I'm Brother Jam.
Brother Blackhand.
Brother Los on the cam.
And thank you for joining us again. Peace.
Peace. Wakanda forever.